Is it started? Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our regular DevSync on Monday. This is the time when we discuss what happened in development during last week and our plans for the future. And the first one today is Vitalis. Please.
Is that me?
Yeah.
Okay. You call me weird. Weird should be fine. That's how call me Vitalis. I'm not expecting it. Anyway, cool. Okay, cool. Let me talk about what we worked. Last week was mostly focused on getting the API for the palette feeds more stable so that we don't have to make further changes on the layer. And apart from that, I started looking into Ethereum verification as well over the weekend, so that we can get started on that once we have the palette feeds in. That most likely will be my main focus this week as well. And I have a brief chat with Serge this morning, and I think he is working on integrating the latest changes of palette feeds into the layer. And I'm gonna put some findings that I've had on the Ethereum verification on chain on Notion, and I'll share it over in the day or in a day. I think it should be straightforward, but there are some decisions that we have to make in terms of storing that state on chain or keeping it offline and trying to do some kind of verification there. But more to follow. But yeah, that's my update so far.
Hey, Ved, did I hear you say you're going to be working on Ethereum validation next after Grandpa validation is working?
Yeah, like it looks like that would be the pipeline, or maybe do you have other things in mind, Jeremiah? Because,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. So we got to archive Ethereum first and get all that working, and then it'll be a next step to do the validation. I think the next step for you is going to be the forkless runtime upgrade support and actually demonstrating that, ideally with the feeds validation itself, for the farmnet.
Okay, cool, makes sense. Like, do we already have a plan on how we are doing it, or do we already plan on pushing it? Okay, cool.
We have nothing we've never done a forkless runtime upgrade.
We've prepared the testnet account, or like root account for testnet. Me and Jeremiah have access to it, so that is about the only thing we have, I think.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think I can take that one over.
Great.
Okay, any other questions to that? Cool. Chain, you're next on my screen.
Okay, great. So last week, I first made a small Rust command line tool to export the balances states at any block of a chain for the regenesis purpose. I also create a Notion page about the usage and the basic idea of this tool. And then I was working on a few knowing exactor issues. One is to fix the pop.js breakage due to the row identifier is unspotted by the skill info queries. The other one is that the exactor chain will miss some primary blocks in some cases. So those problems are solved already. There is still another issue about the exactor for nodes. I haven't figured out. So this week, I will still spend some time on this like exactor for node issue. I will also continue the work from Nazar that integrates the exactor into the subspace node. So after that, I will work on the simple POA-based exactor election, which allows only the trusted exactor to produce mandel and a receipt. Yeah, that's all I had.
After we have the one trusted executor, then we'll be able to deploy it to the testnet, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Liqian.
Any other questions? Okay, thanks, Liqian. Ozgun, you're next.
Okay, so for the last week, I was mainly dealing with partial replica implementation. It's done, waiting for review. I think Leo will be able to finalize the review. Other than that, we discovered a WASM-related issue, and Ivan fixed it. I also think with Ivan about multi-replica farming, which is my priority for this week. He guided through me the code. Thanks, Ivan. And since Justin is away for this week, I devoted today to testing of the partial replica. Again, I only tested on Mac. I also tested on Linux. I was going to test on Windows, but server got bottlenecked again, so I was not able to query the public RPC. And throughout our conversations with Nazar today, we found out that actually in the desktop application, we are opening a connection to the public RPC, but we are not closing it when we are done with it. So another PR was sent about it, and I have a couple of questions in there, and Leo will probably help answering that. I updated the release notes of 0.3, 0.2.2, and 0.3.1. These were just released, but the release notes were not there, so I updated them. They're all in place. Also, the new hotfixes are documented in the GitHub, so users will know what is the hotfix. So we got the Linux icon bug fixed. Leo and I spent a lot of time, but Nazar was able to fix it. So thanks to Nazar about that. And we updated the README. One of our users guided us he was trying to follow the README of the Subspace desktop, and we had the step like create a password. And since the password page is gone, he was not able to do so, and he got confused. So we removed that from the README. Also, some of the users, I got 3 complaints about that on an issue. Like they want to see the reward address on the dashboard, and they can only see that if they farm a block. But they want to see it before they farm a block, which makes sense. So I sent another PR, Nazar approved that. Now it's merged into main, so our users will be able to see the reward address in the next release. We also met with Skyler today about he was unable to launch the desktop app on boot. The problem about that is we actually don't need to do anything to the code, but we have to update the user guide. He is on a Mac, as I am, and when we open the .bmg file on Mac, it's mounting as an external hard drive, something like that. And unless we move the application to the applications folder, when you restart the computer, this DMG file unmounts itself, so it's not permanent, and the application is unable to launch itself on its own because it's gone, it's no longer there. So we have to update the README for Mac users. Please drag and drop your application to the applications folder. It will be trivial, but we should do it. That's all on my end. So, and this week I will be working on multi-replica, but I believe there are some issues about that. So I maybe prioritize the critical bugs for the Subspace desktop.
Okay, let's come back to that at the end, Ozgun, about multi-replica after Ivan gives his updates and we go through that. But thanks for all the hard work. It's a lot of bugs, a lot of changes at the last minute, so appreciate getting all that fixed.
Thank you, no problem.
Okay, Serge.
Okay, so today there was an issue on test B. with farmer and node connection. I created a thread in the engineering channel. Didn't have a chance to look deeper, but yeah, this is something I will have on my to-do list for this week. We still have this issue with test A connection dropped because of the timeout. Also didn't have a chance to work on that this week. Equilibrium finally have like a public RPC endpoint. I will probably onboard them tomorrow. And on Ethereum research, probably since we last spoke on the integrations meeting, no new updates. So mostly I was focused on the relayer updates because there were a lot of stuff changed on the pilot feeds. So I was updating relayer specifically for create and put calls. And for create, we have added like a new parameter, which includes like set ID and authority list. And for put, I was working on decoding finality proof for the block. It seems to work. I haven't tried it on the like actual node yet because of this. I need some update on the create call. We discussed with that today. So once I know that create works on the relayer, I will test put this week. Currently, we only handle for put. We only handle blocks we fetch over the network, but not the blocks we process from archives. So this is also something I will be working on. So yeah, this week will be priority. The grandpa verification will still be my priority, and specifically I will focus on testing, manual testing, unit testing, and yeah, that's all.
I have a question about test A. It only archived like 7 GB in last week, which is really not a lot. What is the actual timeout there in the library?
I think around 30 seconds.
We really need to like dig deeper into it and figure out what's going on, because this is we cannot upload 200 GB with this speed like ever. So maybe try to downgrade the library until we figure out what's going on, if possible.
Okay.
Yeah, please do. Because we'd really want to switch to this new version because we'll probably have another snapshot soon. So we better have this one up to date before that time. At this speed, it will take months.
Okay.
So
So.
you're saying when we upgrade to the new testnet, it'll take about a month for it to sync the history from the archives at the upload rate it's doing right now?
Months. So probably like more like years, like 5 GB per week, or like 7 GB per week, and we have
5 GB per week. I thought that okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that's definitely not gonna work.
No, but so I went with search through some of the relay stuff. When we upgrade, can't we use an archive? So can't we take a snapshot of the current one and use an archive to bootstrap, then use the WebSocket connections to catch up with the delta? Why do we have to sync from start?
We are using archives. That's the issue with upload to our blockchain.
Okay, so no,
yeah,
but if we're going to move to sorry, what I'm saying is that if we're going to move to a new testnet, then why would we have to sync from zero again? Will we just be taking the archive of the snapshot of the last test and the last testnet? So am I not thinking about this properly?
It's not about sync. We need to create transaction and send transaction to our blockchain. like to the new version, which has different palettes in different order with different calls. So that's why we need to like upload it. We have a dump on the disk of like Kusama, let's say. That's like readily available. We don't have to do any requests for that. But upload to our blockchain is slow because of some reason. Okay, unless any other questions, Ivan?
Sure, yeah. Last week, first iteration of multi-replica support was finally merged. Yeah, there are still some issues related to that because there's still like for each partial replica there is a separate blocker archiver which is running in the background. So yeah, that's why I opened the new pull request, which introduces some changes to like block archiving, like multi-replica, etc. It changes like API a bit. So yeah, I received some comments from Nazar about this. I will change that after I will update the docs. So yeah, also in the meantime, I was working on the docs for the farmer. Yeah, also I received today the comments from Nazar. Yeah, I guess I will rework the documentation in order to like describe it more high level, I guess, than the like implementation details and the algorithms which it uses instead of so yeah, I will work on that on those two issues like this week, and after that, I guess I will try to fix the bug with the slow syncing of the on the Windows. So yeah, the issue 307, yeah, it was reported 2 weeks ago. Yeah. That's it from my side.
What about multi-replica as it relates to desktop application? I was going to mention something.
I don't know. I guess I might suspect that the issue might be in that the API itself might change, like of the Subspace farmer library. So that would require to introduce some changes, like at least from the backend perspective of the GUI app.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Yeah, what was going meant.
Will it change, Ivan, between the first iteration and the final iteration of multi-replica? Will the API change?
Yeah, I think it might change a bit because the issue right now is that for each partial plot in replica, there is a separate block archiver. Basically, it's kind of useless because the block archiving itself is independent from the plot itself. So we might want to have like a single block archiver running in the background and sending like archive blocks, like archive segments to each plot. So yeah.
Is this the code that Özgen would have to copy and paste and recompose again? Or is
No,
this behind the API?
Yeah, I believe yes.
Well, if it's behind the API, then from his point of view, it doesn't matter, right? It's just implementation detail.
I mean, the high-level API might change, but he doesn't need to copy-paste like lots of things. It will be like all the complexity will be hidden behind the like some fancy multi-farming abstraction. Yeah.
But that abstraction doesn't exist yet.
It does, but it might change. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any idea when you think that abstraction will be finalized?
I mean, it's actually almost done right now. I guess I will rework the I will split the VPR which I have right now into several ones. Yeah, change the history a bit. Yeah, and fix some final issues. Yeah, and we'll wait for comments of Nazar. Yeah, I will try to land it as up.
Okay, what I would suggest is, Özgen, if you focus on the critical bugs that we have for the next 1 or 2 days, and then hopefully this API will stabilize by that point for multi-replica, and then you can start implementing it so you don't have to do any rework there. Does that make sense to you, Nazar?
Yeah, it does. Also, I think we need to do a runtime upgrade on the current network, if possible, if it's working, such that we have some new information required by the client. So we can actually upgrade, let's say, Farmer and even regular clients to the new version, which supports like max plot size and stuff, without breaking anyone who is already on the network.
That's actually the bottleneck for me. Like without this change, I'm unable to build the new backend because it creates a problem like max plot size is not defined, and that's why that was the bottleneck. It's not the Ivan's changes.
Yeah, and we can potentially work around that on the client side, like check if this constant is not available or something. We can like provide a fallback, but ideally we would try to do this runtime upgrade for the first time.
Okay.
Nazar, can I start with the current snapshot and then start a runtime upgrade with the latest changes on it? Or
yeah, that's what we need to do. Like run it locally, run like several 2-3 clients, try to do upgrade, make sure that those who are on the newer code base work, those on the old code base work, like build snapshot or new snapshot from like source, and try to run that one.
But the newer source code, when you say newer client, we haven't made a snapshot for the newer client, right? We
didn't. Like, I mean, build it locally and run it with the change spec, and then make sure that both new and old clients can work with the same runtime. I think we only added API. We didn't like change or remove anything. I don't think.
Okay, and Ivan, you started to look into this slow sync on Windows bug, you said?
Actually, not yet. We think about it with Nazar today a bit. So I will fix that issue like after I learn the docs and the last changes for the multi-replica support.
Okay. Could you take like 30 minutes or 1 hour max and just look into that and see if there's an obvious solution or if it's clear what's going on? And if not, then we can push it to later. But this is a big problem, you know, that it's just basically not working on Windows, or it's just incredibly bad user experience. And we expect this is going to be a pretty significant fraction of the user base on the desktop app. And it's already been out for 2 weeks, this bug. So we're just going to get a lot of grief in our Discord until we sort this out. So I don't want it to take priority over what you're doing. I know it's important to get the multi-replica stuff out, but if you can just take a look at it and see maybe there's an obvious fix, or at least get some insight as to what's actually happening. And then maybe somebody else on the team can work on that, on solving that problem.
Yeah, sure, of course. I will dig into that today. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I think those are all questions. Leo, you're next.
Hi guys. Well, I'm going to start with the changes on the Polkadot Explorer, and Nazar created an issue that the Genesis block was not able to render. And yesterday at night, before closing my day and going back to home, I solved this issue, adding a validation. What it was happening, there was no logs there was no per-runtime logs. So trying to extract the author for the Genesis block was crashing, and it was solved. So that's from that point of view. And after that, actually last week, I was working on this telemetry server, and I added to the infrastructure a new droplet, and we bootstrapped this. And I have to finish the documentation on the current state of launching this telemetry server. I think that over the weekend you guys scaled the server to support this more than 5,000 nodes. I think that we are actually right now in 6,000.
7,000. 7,000.
Yeah. And I was not expecting that. I think that right now, actually, this virtual machine that I built for the telemetry servers got all in there, the front end and the back end. And probably we could move the front end to another, maybe a CDN, like in the same way we made with the relayer, and have this telemetry backend dedicated in this machine, maybe. There is also some documentation available on how this telemetry server should work. And I think that it's recommended to share this and have several machines connected to a balancing, to a balancer. So maybe the next step could be followed that way to allow all of this connection. And also we could make something similar, I think. I have seen that several blockchain has different boot nodes, 3-4 boot nodes. I don't know exactly how that works, but maybe we can scale our backends or boot nodes environments having more available RPCs, public RPC. So probably this week I will be working in this infrastructure on Terraform to have everything updated, and also the states files shared. I got them all backed up on Google Drive, so I will be moving all these Terraform states files to a DigitalOcean space, following some tutorials in there. And I think that finally I will be going back to the desktop application. Like Osgun said, we have several issues in there, and I have a big branch where I have a lot of upgrades. I will split this branch to cover issue by issue, I think. Yeah. And I will be back in that this week also. Yeah, and I think those are my updates for now.
Thanks for that, Leo. So Nassar and I were looking over the for the telemetry server. Is there a reason why the front end is not wrong with Docker Compose? Because it looks like the manifest that's in the machine, it is it just has the core and a shard. But so I was just a bit not understanding why we have a different compose file, because the builds we're using for the telemetry server now, the UI is quite buggy and it falls over quite regularly.
I tried to use like the basic Docker file that was in there, and the front end was not connecting correctly. And following the documentation, I realized that the deployment process they use separate the backend from the front end. So they recommended to just build the front end and serve through a CDN or maybe an Express server, like separated from the backend in a production environment, I think.
Yeah, we could have actually pointed our existing Nginx to a folder with a build. The problem was that we are using dev server like for debugging purposes in production. And it cannot quite sustain the load, unfortunately. So it just disconnects, like breaks sometimes, and then like goes back up. So sometimes you need to refresh the page like 3 times. But after that, it works. So I think we just need to build it and you can serve it from the same server. I don't think we'll have enough load. The bigger concern is actually about the telemetry itself. I think there is like 2 parts. One is sharded and the other one isn't. So that one that isn't does in-memory aggregation of some sort. And even if we shard those other things, I think architecturally it's still not distributed application, basically. It's stateful application. And we probably approach already the size of Kusama and Polkadot ecosystems combined in terms of number of nodes. So it's really not very well tested, I think, at this scale. And we would also like to see some kind of historical progress of all of this. So I think in the midterm, we probably have to develop some kind of backend for this kind of stuff. For now, I think building the front end and potentially having dedicated CPU core machine should be sufficient.
Yeah, I also in the front end like changed the title and a few things. So to reflect those changes, it was faster to just build and serve with PM2.
Right. I think we can make like a small build pipeline and publish images to our container registry on GitHub.
Yeah, let me share like the current state of all the configurations I made and how do I bootstrap this, so you can be aware of the current state, and we can start from there, maybe sharding and or maybe any changes we need.
Okay, any other questions, comments about this tutorial?
Oh yeah, I got another comment. We have this problem of the file system scope in when the user select a different folder in the desktop app. And I realized that Tauri, like 1 month ago, added a feature to add a non-configured folder to the file system scope. So when now a user can start the app, for example, connect an external drive and select an external drive that was not configured in the file system scope, like in terms of permissions. So probably I will be also working on that. We have to create a Tauri command to expose this function, but should fix that problem when the user selects a folder that is like out of the file system, of the root file system.
Okay. On my side, on decoding, I have done 9 pull requests that are doing refactoring on things related to basically our fork of Polkadot, or at least the components that we were using. The result of that Polkadot folder no longer exists. There is just one file in the executor, which is like 600 lines, which will get smaller, but that's where I stopped. I changed a few things, and basically we now have that executor, which has overseer derivative of some sort remaining. Basically just follows new slots and new blocks from the primary chain and does some things based on that, like producing bundle candidates and executing bundles and stuff like that. So that's all it basically needs to do. Like we don't need anything else outside of that. And I left some comments to Lucian, which I will take over from there towards actually integrating the execution to the main binary that we have. Also was working a little bit on documentation, both on Desktop Farmer and on the monorepo, both for users and for the audit that we'll have to explain what was going on a little bit better. Did a lot of debugging, especially around the telemetry. We've had quite a night with them there. And a lot of actually like non-coding stuff. Just overwhelming amount of different things, and I fixed most of them. We have a short and midterm plan onto removing the requirements for archival nodes on the farmer side. So we have a plan how to make all those farmers to only run a full client, which means they store last few blocks, and that will make the size of the node storage kind of bounded. That was a problem as well for the desktop application, where you have a selector how much space you want to dedicate, but it doesn't actually account for the node space. And we also have a plan how to remove the archiving process, which is duplicated on the farmer. So I'm just waiting for Ivan to finish what he's doing, and I'll do some more stuff on top of that. And I think within a week, if everything goes well, we should probably have a new snapshot or like a new update to the previous snapshot, which is non-breaking, hopefully, that will actually allow us to have fairly efficient network in terms of how it uses space and how it uses CPU on the firmware side. And from there, we'll work in parallel on the DSN, because it turned out that actually there is a lot of cross dependencies in substrate crates on the networking side, and their sync part of the protocol is actually embedded in the networking. There is really no good way to like extract the networking and modify it, or to replace the sync process the way we want it in Subspace through DSN. I'll still have to look a little bit into it. Maybe I'll create some kind of abstraction crate for substrate to have at least an interface dependency instead of the networking, but that is like the primary thing that I'll be working on this week. I think I've closed all the other remaining stuff. And a big chunk of the week was reviewing pull requests. Good job, guys. And also support of users, which we had quite a wave. We were planning to have 5,000 farmers maybe in a week or something. We've got to 6,600 already. It's not stopping, so that's pretty amazing.
Have you added the Russian telemetry server, or do you think there's double content?
No, no, that's like separate.
We've got like 800 there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's more than 7,000, and it keeps growing. So the network is working. We didn't really have major problems with the protocol. We did have problems with the desktop applications. Some of them are already fixed, some of them are on the way. We had problems with telemetry. We fixed most of them. Some of the remaining ones are on the way. We had some problems with the RPC node. The public RPC will probably have to scale it in terms of number of nodes. But that is something we'll have to work on. It's not in progress yet. But the protocol itself is working. Like for those who are running CLI, it's working pretty great. I think the number of nodes kind of speak for itself. Yeah, I think that's on the like more of the coding side. That's all. Any questions, concerns, comments? All right.
Yeah,
Sam, do you want?
Just a comment on the telemetry. I was checking that there is no database in there. Like this is
No
not
database. It's all in memory.
Yeah.
Like if you restart
All
it,
in
like
memory
it
and, like,
slowly accumulates number. Like it starts from zero basically.
But I also checked that maybe we can query, create maybe some kind of how can I say it?
Like store the
maybe we
history?
can query, yeah, like the live server, and parsing the front end to extract the amount of nodes connected every 15 minutes. Maybe
Yeah, I think
that
it's
could be
probably a
useful.
separate discussion. We'll probably have to write something separate. There was another problem with telemetry which we didn't solve. It actually connects to some free RPCs which have 50K requests per day. With our number of users, we've quickly exceeded that. So we don't have like a map of where the users are, but at least we have some addresses.
No, so funny enough, if you check, I think our token's refreshed because we have most of
it's
them
per
now.
day, so like new day, new limit. But if you like restart it a few times, it has to like start over. It will exceed the limit very quickly.
Let's think happy path. I can keep looking at the. I think I've almost finished with the. I think it's a small change to add the tokens as an environment variable. So I might look at that, finishing that later tonight. So at least we get solved. But I don't think that is what was causing the CPUs to blow up like that. I just think it's just a lot of load.
Yeah, ideally that parameter would be a command line flag, so we can upstream it, so we don't have like to maintain that fork with those changes. But again, that depends on whether we want to use this telemetry server long term, which may or may not be the case.
Okay. So is it okay to patch it as an environment variable for now and add clock to it later down the line?
I think so. Yeah, Sam, do you have anything else you'd like to share?
No. Apart from you've mentioned, I haven't done any development. I've just caught up with most of them starting to put together the dry run. So for anyone I haven't spoken to yet, we're having a Master 2 review with the Subspace Builders program in about 2 weeks from now. And I've invited everyone to a dry run on next Monday. In the meantime, I'm going to invite you to, usually I do this on a call, but to those of you I haven't spoken to, I'm going to invite you to Google Slides where I'll just talk you through it, and you'll be charged with maintaining your or updating sections relevant to you. And I want to get this in hopefully by Friday latest, so that I can tidy up over the weekend and we can do we can have the dry run on Monday. And I'm also working on the support stuff, which should be ready today to discuss with NASA and Jeremiah tomorrow.
All right, thanks. Jeremiah, do you have anything to share before we close the recording?
No, just great work, everybody. Thanks for all the help over the weekend regarding the stress test, and was really excited to see how well the network performed.
Yeah, I must say it was kind of a stress test for our team in general. Many dimensions.
Stressful test. I felt so sorry for Nazar. Literally, it's like, literally every five minutes there's someone tagging Nazar and like demanding answers. Like, mate, read the README. Like the person before you literally just asked that. So I'm not sure if it's a process thing or a mass re-education thing. That okay, guys, just check the FAQ. The answer is there. Or if you're not technical enough, why are you running the CLI? Use the desktop app.
Well, I wasn't trying to do that, but I did suggest like the desktop application twice. It's kind of a little bit tricky, a little bit technical.
Let's discuss that post. Yeah, let's discuss that post this.
Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So a few other frequently asked questions are about like how to retrieve balance. For the I guess current testnet. Is there like a easy go-to method currently?
So if they're using desktop application, they should see the balance there. That's easy. If they're using CLI, they usually specify like the canonical guide that we have, the official one, is they need to specify the address. So supposedly they already have a wallet, they just go to the Explorer and they see. The challenge becomes apparent when there is an unofficial guide that may or may not be updated to the latest changes. And then they have to mess with mnemonic and they need to import it somehow. And that is a little bit complicated for some people. So that was, I think, one of the biggest challenge.
In terms of Explorer, like which one they should connect to? For example, I see like Subspace testnet.
It's Subspace FarmNet. Yeah.
Okay. It is not loading up currently, so I'm not sure if there's some issue.
That's our desktop applications helping a little bit. We'll fix that.
Okay. Okay, so that's the, I guess, go-to place for them to see that.
Yes.
Okay. Another question is, what is the best way, I guess, going forward for people to know they're farming the right testnet? Is the addition to the telemetry kind of search?
Can you repeat the question?
Because another frequent question is like, okay, I have my nodes set up and running, but I'm not sure if I'm running with on the right testnet.
Yes.
So the one way is go to the telemetry and see if your node ID is there. If you ran like in the CLI, right? Like, but is that our main solution currently?
I'm not entirely sure what to do about that yet, because if it's in telemetry, it only means that your node is able to ping this telemetry server. It doesn't really mean that it works properly. Yeah. The only way to know if it works properly if it doesn't bring any errors, which I haven't seen any error on any of the screenshots that people are like asking, is this okay? So this needs some kind of more deeper UX discussion to figure out like why they think it's not okay, and what kind of indication you can provide that it's okay. Maybe like print every 5 seconds. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. So they like see and happy. I don't know.
Maybe they can go to the Explorer and connect to a local host 9944 and check the local ROM is.
But their node is running, like they see logs. They just see logs. They don't understand
Yeah.
what they see, and they are asking like if it's working okay.
Oh yeah. Or
Maybe we can use like green color. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's like a bigger problem
yeah,
to solve. I think a more difficult.
Yeah, I think that's outside the scope
yeah,
of the call
it's
right
more
now.
like yeah. We can talk about that later.
Yeah, maybe we can move this discussion to post. I think we're probably done.
Sure.
For now.
Yeah. Thanks to everyone watching this in recording on YouTube. I'm really surprised you're watching this far. It's like 15 minutes already. But anyway, we'll see you in 7 days next week. Same time, same place. See you.